With new, gentler scented Clorox disinfecting wipes, clean finally smells as good as it feels on everything from lamps to ceiling fans, even on your kid's toy shark. Oh, ouch. Clorox disinfecting wipes, now available in crisp lemon. Find it on Amazon. Clorox, clean feels good.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video.
That is unbelievable.
This week, the Bills stampede into Houston to meet the Texans in a showdown under the lights.
Are you kidding me with this catch?
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party. TNF Tonight, presented by Verizon. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Bills and the Texans, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
What's cool about the sequoia trees is their root systems are not very deep, right? But their root systems are intertwined with each other. And so the reason why they can grow so tall and so big is because they have each other, right? A sequoia tree cannot grow that tall by itself. It is only because it has others, right? And one of the important things about us, and you guys do a great job of this also, in the podcast, in our ministries and all this stuff, is the importance of building this camaraderie, this place where men can grow spiritually.
Welcome to Real Man Talk, discussing the tough issues facing men and their families every day. Here's Anthony Curnutt and Carla Sau.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Real Men Talk. Today, episode 200, and I am so excited to have Modern Day Messengers back in the studio. Man, I'm so excited. You guys have met these guys. I've been down there and met them in person. If you've not checked out their podcast, Modern Day Messengers, you have got to go check it out. You're missing out if you don't. These guys are sitting in Black Rifle coffee, right? Phenomenal. Devin, Trey, how are you guys?
We are fantastic, man. Thank you for having us on. And it is a special honor to be on the 200th episode.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Anthony, for letting us on here. And like you said, 200th episode, this is probably the highest achievement of my life.
It's one of them.
I'm sorry.
It's one of them.
I mean, obviously my salvation is number one.
And you did get married.
And then the 200th episode, and then my marriage, and then my children. So
yeah, that's right. I was like, you did find a woman to marry you too. So,
yeah. she's third now. She was second. Now she's got to get bumped down. This is too important.
Well, I'm excited to have you guys on. Obviously we've built a very awesome friendship. We've had you guys on here before. I've been on your guys' podcast a couple of times. We've been down there, spoke at you guys' men's conference. And so, it's just an honor to have you guys back on here. I think a lot of you guys, a lot of your podcasts and the ministry that you guys have got going on. And so let's dig it right into it. So today I want to talk about the importance of building men, right? Spiritual men. Kyle and I, we just got through recording a podcast, and one of the things that we were talking about, it just fell right into play. I love it when stuff like that happens. We were talking about hardships and different things like that, but one of the things that you learn when you look at the sequoia trees, I don't know if you guys are familiar with sequoia trees out in California and Oregon and Washington, but phenomenal. First off, if you've never seen them, if you're listening to this, you've never seen them, you should go check them out. They're great. It's like walking through an episode of Jurassic Park, but you get out there and it really is. But what's cool about the sequoia trees is their root systems are not very deep, right? But their root systems are intertwined with each other. And so the reason why they can grow so tall and so big is because they have each other, right? A sequoia tree cannot grow that tall by itself. It is only because it has others, right? And one of the important things about us, and you guys do a great job of this also. In the podcast, in our ministries, and all this stuff, is the importance of building this camaraderie, um, this place where men can grow spiritually, right? And I really want to talk about the importance of that. Why is it important for us as godly men to build other godly men?
You want to go first? Or?
Yeah, I can go first.
Save the best for last.
Save the best for last. Yeah. Well, I think it's very important, and it's one of the key things to, like, just being a man in general. And I'd like to go back to, like, the basis of, like, the objective reality of it. It's just because of the fact that, like, we were talking about this before we even recorded, like, about the lone wolf thing, right? Like, if you're alone, like, if the wolf leaves its pack, it's gonna die. It's and a lot of times it's just, I think men have this idea, and I think this might be a societal thing, but kind of some pre-context to this is, your book, Framework for Biblical Masculinity. You hit on this and throughout the entire thing, and one of the big things is like, you talk about how, like, society has, like, kind of pushed us into some type of movement, basically, of, like, the man has to leave the house, and, like, in these areas, like, a lot of these, some of these camaraderies can be bad and they can be good, and sometimes when people are, like, in bad camaraderies, they, like, they just, like, say rub some dirt on it, pull up by your bootstraps, and just go on, ignore it and everything like that. And I think it's poor leadership. And it's just, I think it's not a really great perspective of that reality. But on the other hand, we're on the side of Jesus Christ and everything, and we're talking about how we intertwine with each other. It's like your example with the sequoia trees, and in Ecclesiastes it talks about a cord of three strands is not easily broken.
Right.
It's kind of like that. It's like we're not meant to be alone. Man is not meant to be alone. We need that support and help, and also the understanding of, like, as believers and everything, like, to lean on each other, to be open with each other, because we're all going through a lot of the same things. And I think men typically hide that more than women do. But it's so important to find that group of people, get involved in these. Don't be afraid to get involved in these conversations like we're having right now. Talk about it. Talk about, like, what's going on and everything. Me and Devin do a pretty good job about that. About just communicating with each other. Like, hey man, I've had a rough week this week. Like this week, he's had a couple of things that happened with him a couple of days ago, and just to be able to call me or call him and just lean on each other and be like, hey man, like, I'm really struggling with something. I saw some things, and I'm just not, I'm not doing okay,
Right. Yeah.
It's just very important to have that in your life,
Yeah. Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, just piggyback off that. I don't know if I can really add too much more to what he said without repeating it, but men have this, like he said, pull yourself up by your own bootstrap, and I heard that all the time growing up as a kid. I didn't really have a father growing up, but I had a papa, and he was rough and tough and from the oil field. So it was like, hey, rub some dirt on it and walk away. And that's great for some things. When you fall out of a tree and you cut your leg, rub some dirt on it and walk away.
Sure.
But when you're talking about things that are dealing with the soul, things that have eternal consequences, like that doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. And I just use this example because I think it's one of the biggest things that men really deal with is pornography and lust. Like, I think that's probably one of the biggest crutches, and it's one of the things that nobody wants to talk about because it's shameful.
That's right.
I'm a man. I don't watch porn. I don't masturbate. I don't do these things that I'm not supposed to do. Oh man, almost every man on the planet struggles with this. And when men, you can have a group of men that say, hey, we're not going to hide from this because we know this is sin. This is an attack of the enemy. This is not the plan that Jesus Christ has for us. And if we can put aside the notion that men who are manly men don't struggle with this, and we can accept that we are fallen people, that we need Jesus Christ, and we need men in our life to help us out of that, then you're going to have a lot more success, especially in the realm of men. Like we've got a guy in our Friday group. That's his big struggle, and he's very open with it.
Yeah.
And ever since he's been open with it and like, leaning on brothers, like he has had a lot more success than trying to pull himself up by his own bootstrap, I guess you call it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. One of the things that, I wish more men would understand is that the Lord gives us tools, right? He gives us tools to be successful in life. And one of those tools are other men, right? And I talk about it all the time, but I consistently go back to Jesus. And we look at Peter, James, and John. He took with him everywhere. Here he is. He's sitting in the garden and he's praying. And he comes back. He's like, "Hey guys, can you not pray with me for 1 hour? Right? Can you not pray with me for 1 hour?" And realizing that in that moment, in his flesh, he needed them. He needed that camaraderie. He needed them just to understand that, hey, I'm hurting. All I need from you is to just recognize that this situation is serious, that something crazy is about to go on, and that I've got you on my side. And if Jesus needed that, right? How much more? How much more do we? Oh, I ain't Jesus, right? How much more do we need that stability, those men in our lives? And then to be able to take them and help them grow, right? And again, you'd always look at the life of Jesus, right? You see the character that was built in them after Jesus was gone, right? The things that they did, after the upper room, the day of Pentecost and all this stuff, and you see them go out and turn the world upside down, right?
Oh yeah.
And so for us as men, yes, it's super important for us to have other men in our lives, and you can never repeat that enough. You can never stress that enough, because as much as we stress it, and I'm going to be real honest with you,
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
I am terrible. I'm one of these guys. I'm terrible. This is something I have to consistently remind myself of, right? And my thing a lot of time is because I am the leader, right?
Yeah.
That I am supposed to take it by myself, right? You know, anybody who's ever been in management, anybody, leadership is lonely.
Amen.
And stuff, but that's not necessarily the truth, right? There are elements of that is true, but that's not spiritually, kind of like what Devin was talking about a while ago. When you're talking about things of the soul, when you're talking about these things spiritually, that's not the way it's supposed to be. These things weigh so heavy, right? Yes. These things, and another thing is if I don't give other men the opportunity to help me, I am not growing them.
True. Very true.
Right. And really in life, that's the most important thing, right? Not only do I want to have a brother in arms, do I want to have a brother that is, by my side, that I can rely on, that I can call and all that stuff. But I also want to see him succeed, right? How can I not only lean on him, but how can I help him grow, right? Iron sharpens iron.
Sure. Sure. And you mentioned a thing about like, like what we all do here, your podcast, our podcast, the men's ministry, everything that we're involved in and everything. It's like we're equipping men to be leaders, and I think a really big thing is like, why are we doing this? And, I've had several conversations over the last months with my friends, that are not quite believers, and because they can't reason why. Like, why do I have to follow? Why is there a God? Why do I have to follow these rules and all these everything? And those are very legit questions, right? And I think
Yes.
one of our main goals is to like show people, or at least give them the evidence of a God, creation, design, time, space, matter, all of these things that have to come in simultaneously to exist at all. Even Albert Einstein said at one point, if you could move at the speed of light, time would cease to exist. Well, we know that God exists out of time, space, and matter. So that means he's an eternal being, right? So, and the
Right.
design points to designer and everything. Um, so we try to really equip men to like understand, like, hey, we all as men serve something, whether it's ourselves, um, you know, anything of this, anything secular, any, God out there, lowercase g, that, anything can be a God, our cell phones,
Right.
whatever, anything
Yep.
that we take our time and devote ourselves to, above anything else in our lives. Right. So, it's to equip men to understand, like, hey, like there's a thing called subjective reality and objective reality, and it's a great example. I heard Wes Huff talk about this, and he said the example was like, he's like, there's like 3,000 gods out there. He's like, how do you know which one is right? He's like, and he gave this great example that I think he got it from somewhere else, but anyway, needless to say that it's like, if I committed a crime, there's like, how many people are you thinking, Rustin? I don't know. Let's just say 10,000, whatever. There's 10,000 people in a city, and I committed the crime, and I go before the judge, and I'm like, yeah, there's 3,000. There's like 10,000 people in here. Are you sure I'm the one who did it? Whatever. Well, the objective reality is that yes, I am the one who committed the crime, and I have to be in this. And so, it's not out of the 10,000 people. So it I guess the argument falls apart on the other side about which God is right. Well, you just break it down to the simplest form, to, I guess, gain the truth, and and don't take my word for it. Whoever's listening and everything, go research it for yourself. But the thing is we try to equip men with the knowledge that there is a God. We all serve something. So who do you serve under, right? And so we try to, and that's Jesus Christ. Obviously, we can get into the manuscripts and the historical evidence and everything, but there it is. You can go look it up, and so you start to look at like the life of Jesus, and how he chose 12 disciples, right? It's a small group of men, but what you said before just really hit the nail on the head, man. Like, if Jesus needed a small group of men to help him with his ministry and to grow character and all this other things, like, then how much more do we need it? We need it way more. Like, it's just, you're talking about the Son of God, the Messiah, chose 12 ordinary men, fishermen, tax collectors, all this other stuff to help him out. It's insane to think about. But I think our main goal, though, is to equip men to understand, like, hey, there is a God. You are called to be a leader. And then also we try to help disciple them. That's a really important thing, to disciple them into becoming the character of Christ.
Right.
Just to touch on kind of both of what y'all talked about, the discipleship and then the iron and sharpening iron and wanting that person to succeed. That iron sharpens iron, it gets used a lot and people don't even really understand the concept of it. When you are sharpening iron, there's sparks, there's metal slag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rough process.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, especially it speaks to the discipleship of what we do for men. It's like, hey, we're not going to, introduce you to this guy named Christ and then drop you off on the curb and you figure it out by law.
That's right.
We are here with you because we want you to succeed. We want you to have a real relationship with Christ. And if that means I have to be the bad guy and tell you like, hey, what you're doing is not in the design that God has for you, and you have to be mad at me. Then you just have to be mad at me because, like, I want to speak truth, the truth of God into you, so you are equipped with that. I use an example like this all the time, or I use this same example all the time. If Trey sees me walking out of a bar and I'm drunker than Cooter Brown, what's more loving of him? If he says, I don't want to offend Devin, so I'm just going to let him drive and I get in a wreck and kill somebody or myself.
Yeah.
Or is it more loving for him to say, nope, and he drags me out and beats my skull into the pavement? Like, I'm going to be mad at him for the beating he gave me. But at the end of the day, that's out of love, and that is more loving than to let me get behind that wheel.
That is true.
That it just speaks to the truth. But that's what we try to do with this discipling of men. Like, yes, you need to understand the grace of God. Like, that is the number one thing that a man needs to know about is, like, we're wretched, black-hearted sinners, and we have a God who has saved us by his mercy and his grace. Okay, but now we need to walk in his truth.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Yes.
That's a good word.
Yeah, that is a good word. And I think people forget the importance of discipleship, right? Which is really what it's all about, right? I mean, everything that we're doing, everything you guys do, I mean, that's really what it's all about is discipleship. Pouring into men's life, helping them and equipping them to become the leaders that God has called them to be, and we all play this part of the same game, right? We're all playing a chess game. This is not checkers. This is not, this is not a fast paced game. This is chess. This is strategy. It's, what I mean? We're playing the long game. And to understand the importance, I think the church for so long, and I'm not trying to just harp on the church or whatever, but I think church for so long just wanted to make converts, right? It's kind of like everybody got really comfortable with the Billy Graham movement, right? Where everybody shows up to these crusades, they fill out these cards, and okay, everybody got saved, let's go, right? And then that's it, right? Yeah. But that's not. I mean, don't get wrong, Billy Graham was great, and there's place for that, right? Right. But the church got lazy, and we neglected the importance of discipleship, and Devin, just to what you were saying, it's because it is hard, right? When anybody who's discipled many people, it is so difficult at times. Right. Not only is it difficult to sometimes you lose them, right? Sometimes they don't listen because they're stubborn and they're going to do whatever they want to do. Right. We've all been that person. And then sometimes, they fall off the wayside that, whatever happens. And sometimes it's like herding cats. Right. You're trying to be like, hey guys, we have an end goal here. You can, I can help you get here. And they're, I'm playing darts or something, and it's like, just stop. Right. But it's difficult. And that's the reason why the church got lazy, is because it is difficult. It is hard to do. It is, man, I mean, look at Jesus, right? I mean, look at his discipleship of Peter, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And really any of them, how many times the corrections that had to come, how many times he was like, guys, do you guys just not hear me? Do you not have any faith at all? Do you know what I mean? How many times he was in the 3 years he was with them and be like, guys, what's going on here? It's discipleship is difficult. It's time consuming. It's, but at the same time, when you have that guy that comes to the Lord, that becomes the leader that God has called him to be, right? It's like, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? This is the reason why we consistently grow and we consistently push to be better so that we can help them be better, right? I think of, I can think of several guys, but I think of one guy in particular. The man that he is now is so encouraging from the man that he was, right? And I'm not patting myself on the back. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just a vessel, right?
Right.
But when you pour into them, right, and you are able to reap the rewards of that,
Yes.
it is this is what we do. This is why we study all the time for a podcast. This is the reason why we study all the time for men's ministry, right? This is the reason why we study things like apologetics that seems like nobody else cares about. And it's like, this may be the most important thing in the world, and nobody else really cares. Trey got off on, man, well, I could get lost in apologetics. It's literally my favorite subject. And as a matter of fact, I teach a class on apologetics, and I love it. But one of the things that drove me to that, right? One of the things that drove me to apologetics is my need to be better, right?
Right.
Understanding that. I'll just tell you, I was like, that same question that Wesley Huff, you were talking about that, which I've seen that video of Wesley Huff, but
yes, yeah,
he was like, how do we know? I've grown up in the church that I've been in, and stuff, and I had my rebellious age or whatever, but I've pretty much grown up there. But how do I know that I'm right? If I'm leading people.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Exactly. Right? If I'm leading people, I only want to lead them to truth. But if I don't know the truth for myself, then I'm leading them nowhere. Right.
Yeah,
even if I
fart in the wind.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Even if I accidentally got the right answer, right? Yes. Let's it's like my son used to do calculus, right? Which I have I
don't even know how to spell that word, man.
Right? It's crazy. But I remember his, like, each problem would take like an entire page, right? If I guessed the right answer, right, and wrote it down,
right,
I'm not helping anybody.
Well, true, absolutely.
Well,
it's like, well, if you had you guessed the right answer, and then another person comes along, like, okay, well, how'd you get there?
Exactly. Yeah. And you're not really helping anybody. But when you could show people, look, this is the process. This is from beginning to end, right? And same thing with creation. Not only can we look at the creation of all things, right? The lawgivers, the manuscripts, the evidence, right? The archaeology, the archaeological finds, the process, the moral argument, the teleological argument, all of these things. Not only can you do that, but then I can also help you meet him. Right? This is different. Right now in our class, we're going over the difference between Islam and Christianity. Right? We're studying world religions.
That's a big one.
It is a big one. One, because Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world right now. It's the second largest religion in the world. And you have to ask that question. And I mean, are we right? Right?
Yeah.
But Go ahead.
No, I was just saying those the Eastern world of like mysticism and all that stuff with the Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam, like they're very appealing, like to the ears, kind of at first, but the contradictions in them, have you studied the Quran a little bit? So it says that basically that anything in this book is true, and like it's basically like you can't believe, or you have to believe everything that Jesus said, basically. And well, if you go look at what Jesus said, it contradicts what the Quran says. So it's like, okay, well, it's not kind of lining up. And then, we talk about like this mysticism stuff, like as far as like, Hinduism and Buddhism and everything, the reincarnation and like the good versus bad, good karma versus bad karma and all this, a lot of stuff. It's almost it's very it's like Gnosticism. Mm-hmm. So and if you don't know what that, if the viewers don't know what that is, it's basically, in a nutshell, this is a very generic definition, by the way, but it is basically because God created everything, we are God. Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of in a nutshell. There's some avenues that you can go in, but it's basically universalism, which they might believe in God, a creator, but because we were created by Him or by God, that makes us part of God, just naturally, and nobody goes to hell, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but it's an interesting study.
It is an interesting study, but what separates Christianity from Islam the most is the fact that you can be introduced to Christ, right?
Yeah.
Allah. We can get off. We won't get off on that. But Allah, who's not the same as Yahweh, right? Is not the same as Yahweh.
Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
He's very. When Muslims worship him, he's very distant, right? You have no assurance whether or not you're going to get into heaven. You're not, all these different things. Right. The difference between that and Yahweh is Yahweh strives to have a relationship with us, right? He wants to know us. He wants us to know him. He wants to commune with us, right? Much so he was willing to send his son to die on a cross for us. Right.
Yeah.
That's the major difference. There are a lot of major differences, but
and it's very fascinating that just before we get off of this one subject, it's very fascinating that God in Himself, He didn't need us. He didn't need to create anything. He exists and is all things, right? Mm-hmm. So just the fact that the Christian standpoint is that that He created us in His image and wants to have a relationship it's the most mind-boggling thing of like Christianity. Like, why are we here? Like, and it gives a good answer. He loves us,
right? Because He is love, right? One of the things you understand whenever you study out the Trinity is He is, the fact that He is love is because it is who He is. He's always loved. Right, because He's always had a recipient of love. Right, there's always been three of them. They all love eternally. It is part of their being. Right, where Allah is very distant. He only loves you if you do good. Right, and even then you're not sure. It just depends on what the angels recorded, and if He likes you or not that day, or whatever it is. If He decided that
It's very different than the unconditional love that, God the Father, Jesus Christ gives us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Very different. Very different.
And so to be able to introduce, not only to be able to grow, help other men, equip them and help them grow into the leaders, but you can help them introduce them to a loving Savior.
Yes.
Who loves them, no matter, right? While we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And the same way that you got into apologetics and like, just the theology of the Bible. I mean, it's very similar to the way that I guess me and Devin both came across it. We got into these deep dive studies with Greek and Hebrew and like, these specific things that, and we've, studied, some of these manuscripts and everything. And, because, one of his favorite verses is in 1 Peter,
chapter 3.
3:15.
Yep. Starting at 15.
Yeah. Starting at 15, always be ready to give a defense. Okay, and exactly. I'm not going to repeat everything you said, but it's the same way. Like if somebody comes up to me and it's like, okay, Trey, why is your truth better than my truth? You know,
my God rose from the dead.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, that's a big one. That is a big one. Yes,
right.
But it's true, and that's why we've gotten so many studies, and like, you know, we've just researched, and we're still learning. Oh my goodness, I mean, there's so much knowledge out there that it's just we'll be learning for the rest of our lives. To be honest,
100%. I am convinced. I'm convinced that eternity with God will be a consistent, forever learning who He is, discovering Him. Right? It'll never be, oh, we've discovered everything there is to know about God. Right? Otherwise, He wouldn't be God. It'll be an eternity of getting to know Him and learning deeper of who He is. Right?
Right.
But yeah, the need for truth, right? Especially in a postmodernistic society like we live in now, right? Where everything is just everybody else's truth, right?
Sure.
When we live in such a time as what we live, we can only introduce truth. And if I'm going to be the leader that God has called me to be, right, then I have to consistently be growing, right? I tell people all the time in our men's group and stuff and on the podcast, but my goal is to lead not only my family, my wife and my children, but the people around me to the feet of Jesus, right? And I cannot lead them there unless I'm there first. Right? I cannot lead them to truth if I don't know truth.
That's exactly right. Yeah. You can't teach what you don't know.
You can't teach what you don't know. That's exactly right. And so
that's right.
You know, I want our listeners to understand that not only is it important for us to be leaders, right? To lead our families, to lead our wives, our children, people around us, but it's important for us to help men grow. This is not an objective of Modern Day Messengers or Real Men Ministries, right? This is every single man. This is what we're called to do, right? This is not just oh, well, you have to have a ministry to do this. No, you have, I talk about all the time, every man needs three people in their lives: a Paul, a Silas, and a Timothy. Every single man needs a Timothy. Every single man needs somebody that he's growing, that he's teaching, right? This is every man's objective, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's our children, sometimes it's our wives, sometimes it's brothers, right?
Yeah,
but no matter what,
man.
Just I guess to speak on that, I mean, it took a lot of people who knew the Bible, knew the Word of God, and knew the person of Jesus to get me brought in, because I don't know if we talked about this before, but before I came to Christ, like, I was literally involved in an affair. Like, I was actively cheating on my wife, and like, it wasn't until somebody who really I mean, I grew up in church. I knew the church answers, but I didn't really know the person of Jesus Christ. But it took somebody who was studying the Bible, who knew the person of Jesus, and that Jesus wanted me to be out of this depravity and have that relationship with Him. Right. Somebody who had, like I said, studied the Bible, who knew the apologetics, who knew, like, to convince me more than just because God is a feeling, but that God is a person and a true person who has a true plan for you. And I mean, it just speaks to that, like, that God may call you as a man to have that kind of relationship with somebody else who is outside of His will, and just being equipped with the knowledge of God, whether it be through apologetics, whether it be through, if all you know in the beginning is just telling them about the gospel, about how you're a sinner and Jesus came and died for your sins because He loves you, be the propitiation for your sin debt. And I mean, just being equipped, because our calling is to bring other men to Christ.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just so important.
Ford was built on the belief that the world doesn't get to decide what you're capable of. You do. So ask yourself, can you or can't you? Can you load up a Ford F-150 and build your dream with sweat and steel? Can you chase thrills and conquer curves in a Mustang? Can you take a Bronco to where the map ends and adventure begins? Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Ready, set, Ford.
So vitally important, and it's something that, again, I go back to, I'll never be able to stress enough that this is something that we all do. We're all called to do, right? Every one of us. And so as we're getting ready to land this plane, so the last time we met, I was on your guys' podcast, all that good stuff. We were at a men's conference, right? And so I just kind of want to talk about, I thought it was awesome, right? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought you guys did a good job. Good job planning it. It was great. But just kind of, expand on that a little bit, what you guys did, what the future holds for that conference, right? Kind of maybe some success that you guys have seen out of that, all that good jazz.
Yeah. So that was our third actual conference, but that was the second one that me and Trey kind of planned.
Right.
So when we got brought into Men of Courage, like there's different chapters. Me and Trey run the Lincoln Parish chapter.
Yeah.
So the guy who runs Webster, he came in and ran the first one for us and kind of showed us the ropes.
Yeah.
So we did the first one, and it was good. We had some good things, but we sucked at playing in the event.
Yeah. It takes practice, man.
It was a cup full of suck with a free refill. But the Lord was there. The Lord was there.
Yes.
And there was people who made a decision for Christ. And ultimately that's all what it's about. But, as you do things and you're working in the context of things for God, you want to work with excellence. I guess you kind of like
yes.
Right. So, the second one we did, which we had you as there. And by the way, we still have some of our men who just like, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just kind of fangirl over you. It's like they met a celebrity.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I am not.
No, I know, but especially our buddy Nick. Like when he found out you were coming and we had done the framework for biblical masculinity book in our group, he was like, "Oh my gosh, are y'all serious? He's coming!" Yeah. So some of the successes we've seen out of that, I think first of all we planned it a lot better, had a lot better flow to it.
Yes.
We need to work on advertising because that's obviously not our strong suit. But but the ultimate goal was reached, man. There was people who made decisions for Jesus Christ. And we know out of that decision for Christ, their wives are going to be affected. Their kids are going to be affected. Their coworkers are going to be affected, and their communities are going to be affected because they're leading in the leadership of Jesus Christ. And even if it was only for one person, but we've had several people who have reached out. There's some that have joined our Men's Friday group who just come and study the Bible and just get involved with men's ministry with us. And we know that, that was accomplished through things like the conference.
Yep.
And it's definitely something we want to do every year. As of right now, we're doing it once a year. We eventually want to get to the point where we're able to do it at least once every quarter. Just to have that opportunity for men just to meet together in a bigger setting, and then from that bigger setting make smaller groups of friends and smaller groups of community, and take that they don't have to join our Friday group. They can go start one.
Right.
And 100%. And through that, they're discipling other men in their community, and disciples making disciples making disciples.
That's what it's all about right there. That's it. That's 100%. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Men making disciples, making disciples, making disciples.
Yep.
And that's really it. That's what it's been set up from the beginning, man. And I'm just one of the and that's all. We appreciate you coming down and speaking and everything, but you do a great job of explaining like why men should be spiritual leaders, and spiritual leaders, physical leaders, wherever, and the family, serving under the serving under Jesus Christ and everything, and then spreading it out and everything. But it really changes. Our goal is to equip men with the change their character and to grow it exponentially, just throughout their entire lives, but just to understand that truth, man. And I'll say the difference between like what I've seen and it's just like people who have like a good character, like and you can tell that is a genuinely good person, and they have their head on their shoulders even in really like hard times. Like these guys are level headed. They may be struggling on the inside, but they but their character really shows out in these moments and everything. And that's what I love to see, like as far as like disciples and everything. And just to see that perseverance, and we all know that it takes a lot of stress and everything to understand like God's growing you in these times, like if you like with the struggle or whatever, there's gonna be good times too, man. But to understand, even just like life happens, it happens,
Right.
But we want to equip men with the truth, and their character shines through all of that, man, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys are doing a good job. I enjoy your guys' podcast. You guys do, a phenomenal job. You're funny. You're witty. You guys speak truth. Devin's Louisiana sayings are phenomenal. I love them.
Yeah.
I grew up with my papaw too much.
Devin
Most of them I had to eliminate from my vocabulary because they weren't exactly what you would call holy language.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. You guys are doing a great job. So I never want to have you guys on here and not give you guys the opportunity to plug what you guys are doing. So plug the podcast. Of course, we'll put it in the show notes, all the good jazz. But just whatever.
Yeah, just if y'all want to check us out, the podcast is Modern Day Messengers. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, and if we ever get smart enough, we'll eventually get on like Apple. But obviously, we're from Louisiana. Our education system ain't the greatest, if y'all can tell by our vernacular.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, just check us out. We've actually had 2 websites. Our first one went down for a myriad of reasons, but we have no idea what happened with the second one. We had it set up, and just all of a sudden
it just went down. And I've tried to look it up, and our domain, like I look it up and I try to log in, and it says that the domain's paid for, and it's up.
Paid for it and everything. It's just,
but I can't even get into the website like account, so I have no idea what's going on. But
I think at this point we're going to have to hire an IT guy. But for now, just check us out on Modern Day Messengers on on
YouTube,
Facebook, Spotify.
Yeah.
Whatever. Facebook's a good way because the podcast episodes get posted on there. It also talks about some of the things we do in the community that stays on our pages. Just like, hey, if you want to get involved in the community, like check out there, and there's a lot of opportunities.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was super glad that you guys were able to be on this morning, episode number 200. Let's go, and to have you guys a part of the podcast, and because I believe in you guys, I believe in what you guys are doing. I believe in your mission, and I really think that it aligns well with Rumen Ministries, and so.
Can I ask you one question for you?
Yes, you can.
I've been wanting to ask you this for weeks, and I just keep forgetting. And now that I have you, you can't go anywhere. You're trapped. You have to answer my question.
Oh gosh,
it's not a bad one. If you could go back to any point in the Bible, and watch the events unfold like a DVR, like divine video recording, what scene in the Bible would you go back to watch?
Oh, David and Goliath.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
David and Goliath.
Yeah, I mean, one I enjoy, the war movies and different things like that. But to witness that, to be a fly on the wall, right, in that scene would be,
man.
Oh my gosh,
insane.
It would be insane. It would either be that or the very beginning, right, and watch everything unfold, right.
I didn't think
Yeah.
that'd be cool. I just wanted to know, man.
Well, what's
like,
yours? What's yours, Devin?
What is yours?
I'd love to see the moment where Jesus is baptized and you see the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit all in one setting. Like,
that's good.
I don't know if I would be in so much awe I wouldn't be able to move, or I would crap myself because I was just so afraid. I don't know, but I would love to see that. and
be cool.
hear it. This is my son, who I'm well pleased.
Yeah,
But
there's
you,
a lot
Trey?
of cool stuff. Honestly, there's a lot of them. Like I'd like to see all of them,
There's
but I
a
get
lot
to
of
pick
them, yeah.
one. I honestly would love to see Moses part the Red Sea.
That would be a good one too. Yes.
I mean, that would be. By the way, you can go check this out real quick. That there are some archaeological finds of petrified
100%.
chariots down there in the Red Sea, and there's also a land channel. You can go check it
Yes.
out. But it would be cool standing there, Israelites. The Egyptians are on the tail, right? And then God tells Moses to part the Red Sea, right? And then boom. I mean, that would be just.
It would be cool.
That'd be incredible.
And then they walked on dry land.
And they walked on dry land, man.
That's
That'd be
right.
That'd be so cool.
It would be cool. Yeah.
Side note, if not,
Your ADHD brain won't let you quit, will it?
I just want to see a dinosaur.
Right?
I'd like to see a dinosaur.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
ADHD is strong in this one.
That's funny.
I didn't take my meds this morning. I didn't.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for having you guys on. If you guys, those of you who are listening, if you've got any questions, you can always email me, realmen@palaceofpraise.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that good jazz. Check out Modern Day Messengers. If you've never listened to them, check them out on YouTube, check them out on Facebook, Spotify. These guys do a phenomenal job just going through the word, delivering truth. And so check them out. We'll have their links in the show notes. And as always, I want to end in a prayer. Holy Spirit, teach us to be leaders of our homes, of our communities, and of our churches. And teach us to be godly, courageous men. In Jesus' name, amen.
You've been listening to Real Men Talk. If you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email, realmen@palaceofpraise.com, or visit our website at realmenministries.us. You can also message us through social media. If you're a man age 16 and up and would like to be a part of the conversation, join us at the Palace of Praise every Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. If you don't have a home church, consider joining us for worship on Sundays at 10:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. Palace of Praise is located at 1400 Herschel Best Boulevard in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. New episodes of Real Men Talk drop every Thursday at 5 p.m. on all major podcast platforms. You can also find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Facebook. Real Men Talk is a production of Real Men Studios in cooperation with Palace Media Services.